of thrills, a world of drama, of capes and tights, a world where death is a revolving door.
Well, whoops. Let me switch that around now that I've cut off the intro for no reason. Alrighty, so here we are. Hey everybody, it's the Geek Matrix All In on DC Honorable Mentions show. A little extra place to show a little extra love to the books that don't make the main show. This is a companion to the main show, so the numbering on it will be paired with it, easy to keep track of. The show will vary in length. It's always going to be fairly short. Quick summaries or suggestions, ratings, and whatever else I ramble on about. My name is Josh, and these are the Geek Matrix All In on DC Honorable Mentions. Pretty quick one this week, because I've only got 2 books. The very first one we're going to talk about is DC vs. Vampires World War V number 6. Written by Matthew Rosenberg, art and cover by Otto Schmidt, with colors by Pierluigi Casalino and lettering from Tom Napolitano. So, main story, this has got a backup. The truce has been broken by both sides. We knew it, now they do. Queen Barbara Gordon of the Vampires has pushed her army of vampires to the front lines of a war with the rest of the humans and Damien, but their war with each other is the last thing that they need to worry about. Even as the vampires nearly just roll over the human army entirely. See, Aquaman took Mr. Miracle and his daughter into the water and drowned them. Someone now is pretty pissed off. That someone squished Aquaman to death after saying that if his daughter is dead, there is nothing on Earth for him, and orders his army to destroy it. Who is it? Who else could do something like that? Darkseid. And he is. That's who. Meanwhile, in the epilogue and on the other side, it turns out that the Phantom Stranger, the Spectre, and Dr. Fate have a little job for a dead man. Not the dead man, but John Constantine. And that is the end of the main book. The backup is The Hunger, Part 1, written by Joey Esposito, art from Pasquale Qualano, colors from Pierluigi Casalino, and lettering from Tom Napolitano. Finally, it's Animal Man. He has avoided the cities, he's stayed safe, and he's been taking care of his family. And he hasn't slept since the Vampire World Takeover. He's borrowed the ability from some scorpions to absorb UV light and retain some in his body so that he uses for protection. He's using bullfrogs, the sound of them, to stay awake in connection to them because they're always awake basically until they hibernate for the winter, and winter is coming. That's not his first concern though. In his family's safe house where they've been tucked away, a human someone breaks in, just looking for a safe place to stay. What he finds is Ellen Baker and her 2 children locked in the basement behind a trapdoor in the floor. They ask the man to free them because they've been stuck down there for months and her husband isn't well. The problem is, Buddy isn't down there. He's on his way home, and he freaks out when he sees that the door is open, yelling at Ellen and running to save his family. When he gets in, they're free, and the guy that broke in is dead. Maxine apologizes for it because the 3 of them are vampires. He's been hunting down animals to feed them. That's how he's been taking care of them, but it's not enough. They say they feel sick without human blood. So they ate the guy. And now they tossed Animal Man down into their former basement prison, with Maxine saying that they love him and to have a good rest. Ellen, however, says try not to bleed out before breakfast. Yikes. So I feel like this story has been fantastic since it started, and I love it. I love it so much. Even without me really being the biggest Otto Schmidt fan, this series, I just gobble it up. My biggest disappointment with it is that I have to wait until March for the next issue, but thankfully there's a one shot to scratch my itch coming. And this new backup with Buddy already has gripped my attention fully. Nothing changes. This is awesome. I gave this one an 8.5 out of 10. And then next up is Batman Dark Patterns number 2 in We Are the Wounded Part 2. Written by Dan Waters, art inside and out from Hayden Sherman with colors by Triona Farrell and lettering from Frank Sietkovic. This is a deep, crazy, horrific story. Batman has found out who has created the Wound Man and what the Wound Man is all about. He even takes him into custody, but in order to take him down, he has to tranquilize him, and he gave him too much, causing cardiac arrest. Batman tries to rush him to Gotham General, but, well, guess what's on fire now? So he takes him to this pathologist and tells him to call Jim Gordon to come and get the Wound Man after the doctor stabilizes him. But the doctor doesn't. Instead, he wants to talk to the Wound Man himself. That was a very bad idea because a couple of goons then break in later, knock out the pathologist, and take Wound Man for themselves. In this book, Batman said, ugh. I say ugh all the time, so I loved it. And I love this twisted story. And yeah, that's the right word. There isn't a better one to use here. But it's so good. The art style of Sherman and Farrell was made for this book, and it fits it so very perfectly. The book is outstanding. I gave it a 9 out of 10, and those are all the honorables worth mentioning. Make sure you listen to the main show. That'll cover all of the big main books that are taking place in the DC universe. And between our two shows, you'll get everything. So thank you for joining me for the Geek Matrix Pods All In on DC Honorable Mentions show. Thank you everybody for watching. We will be back next week on both shows covering all of DC's weekly releases. Same Geek time, same Geek channel, and that is the show. We're getting out of here, so you'll have to as well. Be careful out there, and remember, in the Geek Matrix, everybody has a home. In the Geek Matrix, you are not alone.